Hey everyone, welcome to our deep dive. Today we're taking a look at education technology.
EdTech.
Yeah, EdTech. And innovative teaching methods and how it's all changing the way we learn.
Hmm.
We've got this really fascinating script that dives into the benefits and the challenges and all the exciting possibilities.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know about you, but just reading through this, I'm already like, wow, imagine learning about ancient civilizations through virtual reality.
Oh, yeah.
Or, actually coding your own robot in science class.
That would have been amazing as a kid.
Right. I mean, it's mind-blowing. So let's dive in and explore how EdTech is really revolutionizing the learning experience and what it
Yeah.
means for the future, for students and teachers alike.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, so first things first, what exactly are we talking about when we say EdTech? I mean, it's more than just, using computers in the classroom,
Right.
right?
It's really about using technology to enhance the learning experience. So it's
Mhm.
about creating uh, more engaging, personalized, and effective ways to learn.
And the script gives some really cool examples, like the virtual reality thing I mentioned. Instead of just reading about Roman history,
Right.
you could actually walk through the Colosseum in VR.
That's so cool.
Yeah. And studies show that kind of immersive experience can really boost, how much you remember. And were there any historical periods you wish you could have experienced like that?
Oh, gosh. So many. But I've always been fascinated by ancient Egypt. So to be able to, stand at the foot of the pyramids
Oh, wow.
in VR,
Yeah.
that brought history to life in a way that textbooks just never could.
Absolutely. And it goes beyond history too, right? I mean, imagine learning about the human body by actually like virtually traveling through the circulatory system
Yeah.
or, dissecting a heart without actually dissecting a heart.
Yeah, no scalpel required.
Exactly. So VR is definitely like shaking things up, but the script also talks about teachers using platforms like Google Classroom to, track student progress, give feedback, all that stuff.
Hmm.
Have you ever used platforms like that in your own learning?
I haven't personally,
Oh,
but I can see how valuable it would be. I mean, for both teachers and students, it seems like it streamlines a lot of the administrative tasks. So teachers have more time to actually teach.
yeah, that makes sense.
And for students, it creates a more direct feedback loop, which, can be really helpful if you're struggling with a concept.
Definitely a game changer. And speaking of games, the script highlights another really interesting approach, gamification.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard of this?
I have.
So it's like integrating game-like elements into lessons to make them more fun and engaging.
Makes sense, right?
It does. I mean, we all love a little friendly competition, but what do you think about the potential downsides? Like, could it lead to an overemphasis on winning versus actually like understanding the material?
Yeah, that's a valid concern. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a fine line between healthy competition and creating an environment that feels too high pressure or, focused on just getting the reward.
Right.
So the key is balance.
Yeah.
Gamification can be great for motivation and sparking interest, but the focus needs to stay on the learning itself.
I think that makes a lot of sense. And maybe that's why the script emphasizes another innovative method, flipped classrooms.
Flipped classrooms.
Yeah, have you heard of these?
I have.
Okay, so the idea is that students watch lectures at home and then come to class ready to, discuss and apply what they've learned.
So it's like turning homework on its head.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that approach?
It's a really intriguing concept.
Yeah.
I think flipping the classroom allows for more active learning during class time. So instead of passively listening to a lecture,
Right.
students can engage in discussions, work on projects, and get more personalized guidance from the teacher.
Yeah, it really shifts the dynamic from passive to active learning.
For sure.
And the script touches on another approach that embraces that kind of active learning, project-based learning.
Mm-hmm.
So this is where students tackle real-world challenges, like designing a sustainable city or creating a marketing campaign.
Interesting.
Sounds way more engaging than just, memorizing facts from a textbook.
Absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
project-based learning encourages critical thinking, collaboration,
Hmm.
problem solving, all those essential skills for, navigating the world outside of the classroom.
Exactly, and it makes learning relevant.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so last but not least, the script highlights personalized learning, and this is all about tailoring the experience to each student's needs.
Hmm.
It mentions platforms like Khan Academy, which adjusts the lessons to each student's pace and level, so it's like having a custom-made learning journey.
Wow.
Pretty cool, right?
Yeah, very cool.
Have you ever used any personalized learning platforms yourself?
I haven't, but the idea of learning at your own pace and focusing on areas where you need more support is really appealing because traditional classrooms often have to teach to the middle,
Right.
which can leave some students feeling lost while others are bored.
That's a great point.
So personalized learning could really address those individual needs, much more effectively.
For sure, it's all about catering to individual learning styles and needs.
Absolutely. And that's where the real power of ed tech lies, and its potential to create a more inclusive and equitable learning environment for all students. But as the script points out,
Yeah.
there are challenges to consider too.
Right.
We'll dive into those in the next part. Things like the digital divide and the need for teacher training.
Right, because we can't just assume everyone has equal access to these amazing tools and resources.
Exactly.
So stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive, where we'll explore the potential benefits and challenges of EdTech in more depth.
Can't wait.
Welcome back to our deep dive. We were just talking about how EdTech can tailor the learning experience to individual needs.
Right.
And the script also highlights how it can help create a more inclusive learning environment, especially for students who might face barriers in a traditional classroom setting.
Yeah. It's about leveling the playing field and ensuring that everyone has access to quality education. For instance, the script talks about the use of assistive technologies for students with disabilities.
Oh, yeah.
So imagine a visually impaired student using text-speech software to access learning materials,
That's amazing.
or someone with dyslexia utilizing speech recognition tools to write their assignments.
It's incredible how technology can break down those barriers.
Right.
It makes me think about students in rural communities or those who are homebound for various reasons.
Yeah,
The script points out that EdTech can also help bridge the gap for remote learners,
for sure.
connecting them with teachers and classmates from anywhere in the world.
Exactly. It opens up a whole world of possibilities for students who might not have access to the same resources as those in more urban or well-funded areas.
It's really amazing, and it's not just about access to information.
Right.
It's also about preparing students for the future. The script really emphasizes how EdTech can help cultivate the skills needed to thrive in our increasingly digital world.
Yeah, it's not enough to simply be comfortable with technology. Students need to be creators, problem solvers, critical thinkers, collaborators.
All those things.
Yeah, EdTech can provide them with the tools and experiences to develop those crucial 21st century skills.
The script gives examples like coding, digital literacy, media literacy. Those are certainly skills that are in high demand in today's job market.
And it's not just about specific technical skills.
Right.
It's about fostering adaptability, resilience, and a lifelong love of learning.
I like that.
Yeah, those are qualities that will serve students well no matter what path they choose in life.
Absolutely. Speaking of lifelong learning, the script quotes a student who says,
Oh, yeah?
learning is so much more fun now.
I love that.
Because of these interactive tools,
Yeah.
that sense of excitement and engagement is something I think we all strive for in education.
Absolutely. When students are genuinely interested and invested in what they're learning, they're more likely to retain information,
Right.
make connections, and apply their knowledge in meaningful ways.
Yeah, it seems like EdTech has the potential to really transform education.
It does.
But the script doesn't shy away from the challenges either.
No, it doesn't.
It brings up the importance of teacher training and the need for ongoing support to effectively implement these new technologies.
That's a crucial point. Technology itself is just a tool.
Right.
It's how we use it that truly matters.
That's true.
Teachers need training not only on how to use the technology itself,
Of course.
but also on how to integrate it effectively into their teaching practices and personalize it to their students' needs.
It makes sense that teachers need the skills and confidence to utilize these tools to their full potential.
Right.
It's not just about handing them a tablet and expecting them to figure it out on their own.
Right. There needs to be a shift in mindset from simply using technology to enhance traditional teaching methods to truly reimagining the learning experience.
I like that.
Yeah, and that requires professional development, ongoing support, and a willingness to experiment and adapt.
It seems like collaboration is key here between teachers, administrators, technology developers, policymakers. It's going to take a concerted effort to ensure that EdTech is implemented thoughtfully and effectively.
Absolutely, and we need to consider the bigger picture.
Okay.
How do we ensure equitable access to these advancements?
Right.
How do we address the digital divide?
Yeah.
How do we prepare teachers for the evolving landscape of education? These are all critical questions that require careful consideration and collaboration.
That brings us to another challenge highlighted in the script.
Okay.
The digital divide, it paints a picture of unequal access to technology and internet connectivity, particularly in low-income communities and rural areas. That's a major obstacle to achieving educational equity.
It's a matter of social justice.
Right.
We can't allow the digital divide to widen the gap between those who have access to opportunities and those who don't.
Right.
It's essential to ensure that all students have the tools and resources they need to succeed in a digital world, regardless of their background or zip code.
The script suggests several potential solutions, like increasing government funding for technology in schools, forming partnerships with private organizations to provide affordable devices and internet access, and launching community initiatives to bridge the digital literacy gap.
Yeah.
It seems like a multi-pronged approach is necessary to tackle such a complex issue.
It's not just about providing access to devices and internet connectivity, though.
Right.
We also need to address the issue of digital literacy.
Uh-huh.
Students need to learn how to use technology safely, responsibly, and effectively.
Right.
They need to develop critical thinking skills to navigate the vast amount of information available online and to discern fact from fiction.
That's a crucial point. Digital literacy is an essential skill for the 21st century.
Absolutely.
It's not just about knowing how to use technology, but also about understanding its implications and using it ethically and responsibly.
Precisely. It's about empowering students to become informed, engaged, and responsible digital citizens.
I like that.
Yeah. And that's something we need to start teaching from a young age.
So as we move into the final part of our deep dive, we're left with a lot to consider. EdTech holds immense potential to transform education, but it's not a quick fix.
Right.
It requires thoughtful implementation, ongoing support, and a commitment to addressing the challenges of equitable access and digital literacy. So we've been talking about all this potential, for EdTech to make learning more engaging and personalized.
Yeah.
But also, the flip side, the importance of equitable access and digital literacy, it seems like a lot to juggle.
It is. It's definitely a complex landscape, and the script makes it clear that we can't just throw technology at the problem
Right.
and expect it to magically solve everything.
No magic bullets.
Right. One of the key takeaways for me, though, is the emphasis on teacher training.
Yeah, that makes sense. Teachers need support to effectively navigate this new world.
Totally. The script talks about classrooms where teachers aren't just, dispensers of information,
Right.
but facilitators of learning, guiding students on their own personalized journeys.
It's a big shift.
It is from a one-size-fits-all approach
Yeah.
to one that really values individual needs and learning style.
And that requires a whole different skill set for teachers.
Absolutely.
So it's not just about learning how to use the technology itself.
Yeah.
It's about understanding how to actually leverage it
Right. How to make it work for you and your student.
to really enhance the learning experience.
Exactly. The script talks about the need for pedagogical training, helping teachers design lessons that incorporate technology in meaningful ways.
So it's not just about, using a smartboard to display a PowerPoint presentation.
No, it's about thinking more creatively.
Yeah.
How to use technology to spark curiosity, encourage collaboration, foster deeper understanding.
It sounds like professional development is key.
It is. And not just a one-time workshop, but ongoing support.
Right, because technology is always evolving.
Exactly. Teachers need access to resources, mentorship, communities of practice where they can, share ideas, learn from each other, troubleshoot challenges.
It's about creating a culture of continuous learning, not just for students, but for educators as well.
Absolutely. And, it's important to remember that this transition won't happen overnight.
Of course.
There will be bumps in the road. And we need systems in place to support teachers through those challenges.
The script brings up the importance of collaboration between teachers, administrators, policymakers, tech developers. It seems like a collective effort is needed to ensure that EdTech is implemented effectively and equitably.
I couldn't agree more. We need to break down silos, create spaces for dialogue and collaboration.
Get everyone on the same page.
Right. Listen to teachers understand their needs. Involve students in the design process.
Yeah.
And ensure that technology is serving the goals of education, not the other way around.
That's a really important point. I think it all comes back to keeping the focus on what truly matters, creating learning environments that empower students to reach their full potential and become lifelong learners.
Exactly. And I think that's the most inspiring takeaway from this script. Despite the challenges, there's this sense of optimism about the future of education. Technology has the power to transform learning in profound ways. But it's up to us to ensure that it's used responsibly, ethically, and in a way that benefits all learners.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I'm left with a sense of both excitement and responsibility. It's an exciting time to be involved in education, and I'm curious to see how this landscape continues to evolve.
Me too. And to our listeners, I hope this deep dive has sparked some new ideas and maybe even inspired you to get involved in shaping the future of education.
That would be amazing.
Whether it's advocating for equitable access to technology, supporting teacher training initiatives, or even just having conversations about the role of technology in learning, we all have a part to play.
Well said. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the world of ed tech.